Hoi there everyone, this is FatesFanboy speaking and welcome back to another episode of Inazuma 11 GO Strikers. Finally, the day of reckoning has finally come. Well, personally I'd like to see it more as a day of blessing rather than reckoning, but I suppose we can just call it that for the sake of entertainment, shall we say. No, but I say that for a good reason, of course, because the last time that I uploaded a video on this series has been the week before the summer holiday, I think, at least the Dutch summer holiday. So that is by now, I think, 6-7 weeks ago. So admittedly, I've left you quite starved as regards this series, which I'm sorry for. But sadly, there was nothing I could do. Recording these in advance is a little tough because I depend on real-time comments from you guys, and that is just hard to work with if you're recording in advance, obviously. Still in all, I am back now and fully prepared, fully energized to get back into this series, so we are going to make this a good one. And hopefully with what we scheduled today, that shouldn't be an issue, because we are starting the third and last story map of the story mode, which is going to span the entirety of the Go series, except for Galaxy, because they didn't care about Galaxy. Before we get to that, I did gather my bearings a tiny bit before starting this recording. I did look around to see what I'd done before the summer holiday, and I am happy to report that I have unlocked 2 new co-op moves, which I will hopefully be sporting in this episode. Was it 2? I think maybe I've shown one off already. Well, I guess we'll see. And on top of that, I have of course racked up enough points to recruit another character at the start of this episode, as is customary, as you perhaps know by now after 15 episodes. And with those points, we are going to fulfill what is, I think, the last pending request for the time being at least, unless something has slipped my mind, which is very, very possible after 6 weeks of non-activity, so please do remind me. But for today's request, we have another one by Crystal Chaos, who recommends getting Felt. But not just Dark Empress Felt. No, he specifically wanted the special version of Felt, which you unlock by recruiting his Dark Empress form, of course. There he is, Brainwashing Felt, who starts off with B-Catch. No, that's not B-Catch at all, what am I saying? That's B-Guard. He starts off with C-Catch. So he's admittedly going to take a bit more of investment, but I definitely think it'll be worth it considering what he has access to. So yeah, welcome aboard Felt, and you know what? This request was a 2-parter, so I think I'll just fulfill the second part as well. Where is he? There we go. We are getting an upgrade to our boy Jim. We're getting his Dark Empress version instead of his Raymond version. So with that, I am able to unlock Dual Smash on Felt, which will be something for a future concern. Whether we'll use Felt right away or Jim right away, that remains to be seen. And while we are on the topic of team management, I don't exactly know if I switched anyone out. I do believe I might have, but you know what? For the sake of just making it interesting, we are going to put some new characters in. I think I'm going to switch out Windy for a minute to instead put in Jim. It has been a while since we've heard of Jim. Sadly, we had to bench his Raymond version. He was really falling behind, was sorely lacking. But I think this Dark Empress version will make him a tiny bit better, even though he still has D-Guard. Well, it is what it is, as I like to say. So what are we going to do on top of that? I don't think we're going to do much else, honestly. Well, maybe one other thing of notice, namely that before the summer holiday I left you with a quandary. Should we switch kits, or should we stick with the Raymond kit, which has been quite iconic up until now? The answer was, well, honestly, the answer wasn't that clear because there was one answer, also by Crystal Chaos as it happens, so thank you very much for your input. He did mention that he liked how iconic the Raymond kit was, but that he might also want to see a more personal touch to the team. So with that in mind, I think we will purchase a kit in a future installment. If there's any specific kit you want to see, like Vinny the Trash suggested earlier, by all means let me know. I might throw up a poll. Not that I really can, but you know what? I'll do what I can. And yeah, we'll organize something together. Still a collective effort after all. Also, quick interjection to make a tiny request of you. If you do find yourself enjoying this episode, consider subscribing. It's completely free, you can always change your mind later, and it goes a long way for me as a content creator. Thanks in advance. But yeah, I think with that being said, we've covered most of what I've done before the holiday. Now, admittedly, it wasn't much, but you know what? It's still worth updating you on, I believe. Oh right, completely forgot to switch around the team. That's probably a good thing to settle before we start the match. Now, who have we got? Right, we have Vladimir, who I don't think has got a chance to shine yet, so we're going to switch him out for Samford. Or rather the other way around. And then we're going to put Jim in instead of Shadow. And I believe that should be alright for the time being. I think we're kind of highlighting all the minor characters, and we're of course keeping a strong defense with Hawkins and Nathan both being able to block. And then of course we have the Golden Trio, the Fire Dragon Trio, who are quite possibly going to shine in this match, and you'll see why. But keeping you in suspense for a tiny bit longer, we are going back to the map screen, and as you know, we have completed the first map with the last episode. We beat Ogre, and we also beat Leocott Island, so now it is time to move on to the 3-star map. It's technically, I think, the Chronostones map. Well, let's just jump in. I roughly know what it is, but I can't really explain it off the top of my head. So let's just let the game do it for us. This is a really cool map, admittedly. It's just kind of a clusterfuck of everything that Go have to offer, I suppose. So before we do anything, Mr. Daystar is already waiting for us. Oh, and disclaimer, I have absolutely no clue what any of the Japanese names are in this arc, in the Go arc, so you'll have to excuse me for that. So we're starting off in Go 1. We have the stadium here, I think that's, what's it called again? Saints Row or something. And there's also actually a gate for the very first time, which I think you have to get a key for from one of the teams. Don't exactly know how it works, but we'll see as we go along. And then we get into the Chronostone part of the map. Cherry Blossom Stadium, whatever it's called, Cherry Storm Stadium, I think. In the Sengoku era. Right, that's the Tale of the Three Kingdoms. And there is, of course, the prehistoric area. And then we end it all off at the setting of the Go movie, I think. So a lot to unpack in this map. And we are just going to go right ahead and jump into the first match. I think that's the best we can do for now. Now, this first team is quite an original one. 4 shields, so they're already matching Team Ogre, so it's a very good thing we prepared. And I say this team is an interesting one, but why is that the case? Rhetorical question, of course, because I'm going to show you. Here's the first team. And as you can see, this is not an official team that was in any of the Go games. This is rather an amalgamation of like all the, I think the teams from the first half, and also the second half actually, of the Go tournament. So we have, I think we have Alpine, Lunar Sea, we have, that's not Dragon Link, but it's the other one that comes before Dragon Link, Knockoff Zeus. There's Hari Houdini, of course, and yeah, Sol. And this is Kirkwood. Yeah, Kirkwood. It's a pretty cool team, honestly, and they have some gimmicks that are not going to make life any easier for us, which you may be familiar with if you have seen or played the Go arc. And actually, on second thought, I am going to put Peabody in because of said gimmicks. I think we're going to need him. But I'll let the game speak for itself. We are going to jump right in and see what we can do against this team. Shiai kaisi da. Also, it is thundering quite violently outside, which I hope will not sound on the microphone. But you never know. You never know. What a good thing to come back to. And I am also very glad that we still have this commentator, because he is eventually going to have his role taken over by someone else, who I find considerably more annoying. But we'll get to that when we get to that. I'm kind of going ahead of myself, going ahead of the game as well. Let's not pull any punches, unless we do that, I guess. Okay. Butobi jump, right. He's a little guy, of course he has Butobi jump. But we can block this. No, it's not really necessary. You have the full energy ring, of course. Very good. Now I'm kind of trying to mentally prepare myself for getting back into Inazuma 11 commentary, because it has, of course, been quite a while. And I'm just trying to think what I can say about this team, or perhaps about Go in general. Now, what I can say is that Go has never particularly interested me. There's a few gripes I have with the Go games, but oh, look who's coming running up. There we go. We do have 2 new moves to flash. And this is number 1, Fire Blizzard, of course. And here's the gimmick, of course, one of the gimmicks of the Go games. Spirits. Spirits are going to be quite a challenge to break through, but luckily we have our co-op shots, which we are going to direly need, I think. It is, in general, quite tough to break through a spirit conjuring player. Alright. Land of Ice, yes, of course. It is Alpine, after all. Now, one thing that we do have an edge over on this team is that... Okay, don't hit me, please. Kind of panicked and made a really bad pass, but you know, they're not going to do anything about it, apparently, so might as well continue. And we're going to quickly intercept. But yes, one edge we have over this team, apologies for interrupting myself, is that we have a strong forward in Aphrodite, who is also effective against the keeper of this team. This keeper has mostly ground moves, and all of Gazelle's moves are wind element. And it had just started raining really heavily outside, which is great. I mean, it's a great feeling to be inside, of course, playing Inazuma 11. Nice and toasty in my room. What would be even better to top this off would of course be another goal, so let's see what we can do. Now I'm going to opt for a Revolution V, couldn't think of the name for a second. This does have an advantage over his moves, but I fear Steve's kicking power is going to be a tiny bit lacking. Maybe not actually, spoke too soon. Of course I should have trusted in Steve. When has Steve not pulled through for us? Never. Never is the answer. In Steve we trust, I suppose. Alright. Aphrodite. Suzuno is again charged up. I'm going to take full advantage of this. And we are going to let another Northern Impact rip. Not going to wait for Fire Blizzard this time, because of course co-op moves do reduce the TP of both the users, not just of the main character in this game. And it looks like the keeper is actually out of TP already, which is a great deficit for them. It's also one of the main advantages of using these spirit moves. They're quite TP heavy. And for most keepers, yeah, that's just... I think I've mentioned this before, but most keepers, they don't really have an insane TP stat to speak of. So spamming their strongest moves is usually a bad idea, but they do it anyway, because that's the AI. They want to stop everything. Right, now let's see if we can get the ball to Aphrodite. I would like that. Oh, here we go. So, of course... Oh, that's... He has a defensive move, doesn't he? Now, you've heard of God Break. But what about the Chaos Break? Oh, there it is. Ah, one of the, if not the very coolest move in Inazuma 11. And of course, a perfectly beautiful shot. A perfectly beautiful goal to match it. Aphrodite, our legend. Now, those were the two moves I have unlocked before the summer holiday. Of course, I did focus only on Gazelle and Burn. I'm using like all their names interchangeably, but I'm sure you're still following me, being the Inazuma 11 fanatics you are. But yeah, I focused on the two of them, and Aphrodite as well, because, well, it was kind of a two birds with one stone scenario. If I went for Fire Blizzard, I was already automatically on the way to Chaos Break as well. Though, I did run into one little issue, just a tiny one, while training, but I'll explain that in a second. First we're going to show off Vladimir, who has Fireball Screw. And while we're on the topic of Go, I think this is a very neat reference actually. Gigantic Bomber. Okay, he finally stopped something. Now, the fact that, or why I'm saying that it's a neat little reference, is because I think in the cutscene where Victor and Vladimir play football together, I think it's either Vladimir or Victor who tries to simulate Fireball Screw, after his idol, Axel, of course, because who doesn't love Axel, haha. So yeah, I just think that's a neat reference. And he's a really useful player as well. Mostly later on, because he does have 3 blue bars to fill. But that is something we'll get to, indubitably. Let's see if Steve can actually make the 5-0. That would be quite good. Quite good. Going into the break No. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. It was from a bit farther away, admittedly, so not entirely unexpected. But 4-0 is a resplendent lead to go off, and I'm honestly not complaining. I'm honestly not complaining. It's been much worse, admittedly. And they actually haven't got... well, the little guy has got 2 shots off, but besides that, nothing threatening has come our way. So with that in mind, I think I will actually put in some different players to show them off. Because I did make a tiny adaptation to Sanford, and I would like to show that off. It's just a tiny little thing, but I think it's worth showing off nonetheless. Right, let's see how much we can bump up our lead. Well, quite the catastrophic start. Crazy sunlight. I do like that they just call it crazy sunlight. It's just kind of, it's such a well, I want to say it's such a juvenile name, but it just works for some reason. Okay, that guy also has Ice Ground, I think. So let's not test him. There we go. Let's go through the middle. Not take our chances, take any chances. Alright, he's going to opt to use nothing, which we always love to see, of course, because that means we have a clean 5-0 to add to our records. Now, of course, this first match was not going to be anything too challenging. Admittedly, they have a few good players, but it's primarily Sol here in the middle. And you know what? He doesn't get the chance to play, so that's kind of just their whole threat out of the equation. And I guess this guy, the guy with the purple hair, the traitor, as he's most likely known to you. I think he also has some moves, but he's not getting the chance to do anything, as Jim makes a beautiful interception. And actually, I don't know why they put this guy in the defense, because I believe he's actually a... No, he is he's a defender in his team, I think. I just remembered his name, Cronus. Well, that's of course his English name. Because Japanese names in this arc, I have no clue what they are. No clue. Especially not of the less prominent characters. Like, I know Tenma and Shindo and Tsurugi, but that's like as far as I get, honestly. So you'll definitely have to excuse me. But no, I was talking about this play in the defense. So he has Ballista Barrage, which is a long shot, and I think that's why they actually put him in the defense in his original team. And I think he may have Ozone Flare, or Air Bullet, as they call it in Japanese, which is a much more concise and honestly better name. Don't really know why they give it such a difficult name in the English adaptation. I don't even know what it means in the English version, honestly. At least Air Bullet is clear. But no. Let's see how much more we can pull off. I think Gazelle, if I did see correctly... Oh, he still has some energy left. I think when I checked, he had 35 TP left, so he might as well deplete the last bit of his TP here. And then we can switch him out, if need be. I don't suspect it's strictly necessary, but we might as well. Oh, he actually stopped it. Okay. I guess that's really just the impact of the square, the advantage square coming in. And this is what I want to show off on Sanford. How's it called again? Oh, I don't know what it's called. That's the move that Royal Redux Sanford, of course, gets access to, and also Changsu Choi. But that is not something that this Sanford originally gets access to. Now that's a bit of a problem. See, this is going to be a big problem, actually. That's Apollo. And this is going to be a really, really big solar flare. Which I doubt we're going to stop. But, you know what, Peabody? Surely you can pull through against the spirits. Surely. You'll stand a chance against this gimmick, right? Surely. From like 3 meters. Yo, what? Wait, actually though? Okay. I'm speechless, honestly. I knew Peabody was good, but this is kind of ridiculous. How far was that? That was like 5 meters, and he just stopped the spirit. I think Peabody will never be replaced on this team. I think that settles it, honestly. He's been outdoing himself time after time, and this is the climax of his performance. Now, while we have Sanford here, we might as well get something off. Oh man. It's so good coming back to this game after not having played it for a while. It's always such a breath of fresh air, honestly. Because I've mostly been playing Fire Emblem during the holidays. Been playing the new Warriors game that's come out, if any of you know that game. But that is not Inazuma related, so I will not bore you with that. Or rather confuse you with that, because most likely none of you will have any clue what I'm talking about. Now, another level 1. Sidewinder. Alright. Very cool, very threatening. I'm definitely scared. Definitely scared after they just threw a solar flare at us. And Peabody just stopped it without hesitation. There we go. Easy peasy. Now, I'm looking at the clock, there's not a whole lot of time left, and I think that gives me a good opportunity to say that I'm quite excited to explore this map, actually. It's really been a while, and I think there's some really cool references on this map as to the Go games. And fortunately, I actually do know what I'm talking about, because I have played Go 1 and Go 2. If they had added Galaxy, I think I would have been helpless, quite frankly, because I have neither seen nor played the games slash anime. So, I think this guy's a spirit, actually. Or a co-op move. Yeah, this triangle Z. That's right. Double Z. There we go. A very cool move. But we're of course going to block it effortlessly. Because that guy... I don't think that guy was made for shooting. Even though he is kind of a forward. And since it's close to the end of the game, we might as well. Not take our chances, not pull any punches. Not try to flex on these guys, because God knows it's gone really badly when we tried to flex before, when I tried to flex. Can't really blame my mistakes on you guys, that would be kind of unfair since, well, you're only the guys really giving input, and I'm the one making the mistakes. So, there we go. That's the end of the match. Bit of an uneventful second half, but it is what it is. It happens sometimes. At least we won with a clean 5-0, and that is what we love to see. That is an end result we can be proud of. 610 points. I think that's almost back to where we were at the start of this episode. So now we have a whole new map on our hands. We have a good bit of ground to cover. We have a good few things to explore, and I'm going to do that happily. Alright. We beat the first team, and I actually think that we will get a coach looking at this, and a whole lot of kits, it looks like. Now this coach, Afrori, there he is. Go Afrori. He does have a certain grace about him, doesn't he? With the suit and the ponytail. And I don't know if I prefer him over Travis. Now let's see. It looks like we can actually get access to 3 secret players before we have to face the next team. So we'll do that first of all. We'll go back beyond Afrori and see who this is. Why does he have such a high-pitched voice? He's supposed to be an adult. Okay, well, this is Banyan, who is now grown up, quote-unquote. I suppose. Still has the voice of a 12-year-old. That is quite alright. This minigame again. I'm not going to make any questionable comments this time. About being hit in the face by a pair of balls. It will be quite inappropriate because all of these guys are kids, I believe, canonically. So, yeah, definitely not going to do that. Now, I really hate this voice for him. On second thought. Why is it so high-pitched? Now I'm actually going to try and act as if I know how this game works again. Of course I can dive with A to get more balls at once. Now let's see if we can get 25 on the dot. Excellent. But yeah, that's number 1. 2 more to go. The fun never ends. Oh god. Oh dear, what did they do? Yeah, I guess this is technically part of the first game. And actually thinking about it, I think their commander is coming up in a second then as well. Pinkus Mountbatten. But I guess we'll see. First we have to beat... what's his name again? The royal guy. In a sandboarding match. Oh. Oh, he sounds like he has asthma. Why? What did they do? Oh god. Oh, that's so bad. Oh, but he's actually kind of popping off. Okay. Need to actually step up my game. I see how it is.
Oh, look at the class! Look
Not
at
just
the mouse!
memeing. And just blast past those rocks. That's fine. He's trying to bump into me. But we're of course going to destroy him because we're legends. It sounds like he swallowed a cat. It's honestly... it's so jarring. Oh dear. Well, at least we don't have to hear any of that anymore. And I also don't have to fake like I know what this guy's name is anymore. I literally cannot recall for the life of me, but I'm happy it's over. Well, that's number 2. These are realistically not going to take a whole lot of time, but it is going to add to our compendium of players. Whoa! This guy is a Chad! Okay, pink is Mountbatten. Never knew what the deal was with this guy, but he does, I think he does have his signature move, a signature move, in Elemental Destroyer. And you know, I actually just don't know if this character is like based on someone, or if he was just an Easter egg. I got hit by a penguin, love that. I forgot how this game works, I forgot that this is actually competitive, because I've kind of been grinding the tree version of this game to grind friendship points as of late, and I forget that you actually do not work together in this version. But on that note, I don't actually know if sharing the ball with your partner actually gives you like more points in the training version either. I'm just going to assume it doesn't, and justify holding the ball once again. But yeah, we won. 1130 to 200. Very convincing, I'd like to say. We beat Mr. Giga Chad. And I think that about sums up the entirety of what we can do on this map. For the time being, at least. For the time being. Martin, that's his name. Now, that is the first match and the first accessible content of the third story map. The second team is actually going to be, I want to say these two teams, the one with Sol and the one with Quentin, are actually 2 parts of the same team. So this is kind of going to be the second half. And yeah, they are going to be a bit more challenging. So I think I'll have to prepare adequately. But for the time being, we are going to go back to the club room. And we're going to see what we can do. I don't actually know if we have any more pending requests. So you might have to give me a second to look over what we still have. Alright, so as it turns out, we actually don't have any more characters to recruit. We don't have any requests, as it were. So what I think I'm going to do is I might just dedicate some points to getting a new kit. We might as well personalize a tiny bit. It's actually like a sort of bundle you can get with a lot of badges. That might be worth it for the time being. I think that's going to be the most value for us. We can just see what's in there. We can just explore a tiny bit. Until we have more requests. And for that, I of course urge you to leave a comment if you want to see any particular character in this team, or if you want to see any kit, I suppose. I guess that's now an option as well. Okay, but let's actually see which emblems we got. Now, I suspect they will be at the very bottom. Unless we just didn't get anything? What did I buy? I'm so confused right now. Did I just got scammed out of 800 points? I'm going to translate this. I literally just got scammed in a different language. Okay, so the internet apparently offers no answers, so I have still no clue what I just did. I guess I just threw 800 points off the bridge, flushed it down the toilet, so to speak. But yeah, I suppose with that being said, we did everything we could for this episode, so I think I'm going to leave it off with someone spinning, as I have for the last few episodes. Absolutely, you will do nicely. With that being said, I'm going to round off this episode and say, if you watched up to this point, thank you very much, as per usual. It has been a pleasure getting back to this game, and I hope you enjoyed yourself as much as I did. Now again, a request to leave your thoughts on switching kits, and to leave a comment as well if you want to see any particular player on this team. I bid you all farewell, and I will see you all in the next episode, where we face the second half of the Saints Row team. Goodbye!